Got a couple of small little stories for another Hate Nubbins segment. Elon Musk wants to fight Mark Zuckerberg. Have you guys heard about this shit? These two assholes are going to fight each other. Does anybody care about this? I really honestly don't care about it. I don't know. What's their beef anyway? What? Only this country's only big enough for one asshole billionaire. Is that what's going on with this shit? I don't know. I personally think Zuck is gonna fuck Elon Musk up. I guess Elon Musk is claiming that he took karate or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, you're gonna get stomped. Musk is doing he's doing like fucking Shotokan Street Fighter shit. Zuckerberg is doing like fucking jujitsu. He's gonna fuck Elon Musk up. Plus, he's like way bigger than Elon Musk and like 10 years younger. Yeah, it's over. But I don't know. I hope they beat. I hope they both die in the ring. Is what I hope. I hope they're fighting each other, and it's like all intense, and they both strangle each other, and they're both dead. How awesome would that be if they both just fucking accidentally kill each other? I mean, people die in the ring all the time, especially when you get two amateurs who don't know when to stop choking each other out and shit. Who knows what could happen? I did read one story here that said that the Italian government reached out to Elon Musk about the possibility of this occurring in the Roman Colosseum. Which is, yeah, that'll never fucking happen. If you guys are gonna fight in the Colosseum, can we just make it go all the way? Can you like have swords and like spears so that you can do it the right way? And like, maybe like Musk could be like the one guy with the spear in the net, you know, and then Zuckerberg could be the dude who has like the half armor and the small cutlass, like, and then you guys just be real gladiators. Maybe we could throw some tigers in there too, while you're at it. I mean, does that mean that like the emperor gets to decide at the end, like if you're gonna like after like Zuck like fucks Elon Musk up, like does the emperor get to do a thumbs down and just kill him? Right? you know, Are we gonna like go all the way with this shit? Are we gonna put like tigers and bears and stuff that are gonna like come up out of like trap doors so that they can fucking like eat whichever one is slower? Such bullshit. I don't know. I don't know. I guess if I do have to root for someone, I would root for Zuckerberg, even though Zuckerberg's kind of an emotionless, soulless robot. Because Elon Musk fucking fucked up Twitter. He completely destroyed Twitter. He turned it into a platform for fucking Nazis, and they spread hate speech and shit like that. So fuck Elon Musk. He deserves to get his ass beat. Next little tiny story. Marjorie Taylor Greene has claimed someone tried to hack her TV. This shit is hilarious. Let's see what she's got to say here. This is our esteemed congresswoman from Georgia. Last night in my D.C. residence, the television turned on by itself, and the screen showed someone's laptop trying to connect to the TV. Just for the record, I'm very happy. I'm also very healthy and eat well and exercise a lot. I don't smoke and I never have. I don't take any medications. I am not vaccinated. So I'm not concerned about my blood clots, heart conditions, strokes, or anything else. What a fucking bitch. Nor do I have anything to hide. I just love my country and the people and how much they've been screwed over by the corrupt blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Like someone's trying to spy on Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's called a Chromecast, is what's going on. One of her neighbors is trying to Chromecast something, and it accidentally paired with her TV. I mean, unless she's trying to say that, like, a video of somebody came up on the TV screen and they were trying to connect, which is fucking bullshit. But I just like, even something as small and innocent as this, right? Because this shit happens all the time. The other day I heard weird shit coming out of my speakers on my PC. And it's because somebody in like one of my neighbors, their phone accidentally paired with my speakers or something like that. This shit happens, right? Sometimes you'll be driving, like I'll have my phone paired with my car, and I'll drive by another car, and then I'll hear somebody else's music for a second. And it's because my car paired with their phone or whatever. This stuff happens, It's electronics and stuff. They're not perfect. No one's trying to fucking spy on you, you dumb bitch. But what I really like here is that, you know, she has to stay on message. And I notice Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, they're always like, they take every opportunity they can to just throw out another little virtue signal. You know, I guess in this instance, you know, it's the anti-vaccine thing. I'm not vaccinated, so I'm not concerned about blood clots, heart conditions, strokes, or anything else. Like getting vaccinated is gonna make you fucking hallucinate or something. It's just the dumbest fucking shit ever. I can't believe this stupid fucking woman has so much power. You know, remember Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's like advocated for like the death of the Speaker of the House. She's tried to like impeach Biden over the dumbest fucking shit. You know, she's like called for her political opponents to be executed, calling them traitors and stuff, and saying, this is, you know, traitors deserve to be executed. And then she'll turn around and say Nancy Pelosi's a traitor and Joe Biden's a traitor and Chuck Schumer's a traitor and all this shit. So it's like, I don't know. Can't believe this is why our country's so fucked up. All right, our country is so fucked up because people like this are fucking in charge. One more little tiny story I want to talk about here. Rick Scott says socialists and communists are not welcome in Florida. So this is Rick Scott. He is a giant piece of shit. And let's listen to what Rick Scott has to say about Florida.
Senator Rick Scott here. Let me give you a travel warning. If you're a socialist, communist, somebody that believes in big government, I would think twice. Think twice if you're thinking about taking a vacation or moving to Florida. We're the free state of Florida. We actually don't believe in socialism. We actually know people, and some people in our state lived under it. We know people lived under socialism. It's not good. It's not good for anybody. So if you're thinking about it, if you think about coming to Florida and you're a socialist or communist, think twice. We like freedom, liberty, capitalism, things like that. Senator Rick Scott.
Okay, shut the fuck up, Rick Scott, you fucking idiot. What does this come from, right? So if you remember, Donald Trump said something very similar to this a few days ago, and so Rick Scott, of course, has to jump on his dick because Republicans and conservatives have never had an original fucking thought in their heads in their entire lives. So what are we talking about here? This is another tweet by Donald Trump right here where Donald Trump says that he's going to kick out all of the communists and Marxists. Let's listen to this.
Today I'm announcing a new plan to protect the integrity of our immigration system. Federal law prohibits the entry of communists and totalitarians into the United States. But my question is, what do we do with the ones that are already here that grew up in it? I think we have to pass a new law for them. Using federal law in section 212F of the Immigration and Nationality.
I like how he had to, like, read that. I like how he didn't, like, he was too lazy to memorize that part, you know? So he's like, using law in, you know, and now he's, like, reading off screen. Just, I don't know. I thought that shit was funny. Anyway.
Act, I will order my government to deny entry to all communists and all Marxists. Those who come to and join our country must love our country. We want them to love our country. We don't want them when they want to destroy our country. Welcome to America. We want to destroy your country. Thank you very much. So we're going to keep foreign Christian-hating communists, Marxists, and socialists out of America. We're keeping
Christian-hating, huh? All right, enough of this shit. Enough of this fucking shit. I love how it's like at the end he throws in the Christian-hating part, like Donald Trump's a fucking Christian or something. Like, you know this man doesn't give a flying fuck about your religion, right? But anyway. So yeah, that's why Rick Scott had to say that, because his daddy Trump said something similar, and Rick Scott has zero capacity for leadership or original thought, and had to jump on Trump's cock in order to, like, you know, try to get some attention because nobody gives a fuck about Rick Scott. Rick Scott has delusions that one day he's going to be president. He's never going to be fucking president. Keep in mind that Rick Scott is like a fucking criminal, if you remember. The hospital that he oversaw engaged in the biggest Medicare fraud in U.S. history, essentially. Way back in the day, they were fined $1.7 billion. So Rick Scott is a fucking criminal who should be in prison. And he somehow managed to worm his way into the center of American politics. So fuck Rick Scott, right? The other thing to remember is that what Donald Trump is proposing and what Rick Scott is proposing is illegal. The government itself is not allowed to discriminate at all based on your ideology. So, you know, you could make the argument, like we were just saying during the little segment we had about the Supreme Court things, where you could say, okay, well, individuals can discriminate when it comes to your ideology, right? You know, the example we use saying that a Jewish person, for example, should not be forced to create a website for someone who's like a Holocaust denier. That's true, right? The government, however, is not allowed to do that. The United States government is not allowed to penalize you for your speech, political or otherwise. And the type of politics that you believe in, your political affiliation, is speech. So they're not allowed to say, if you're a communist, you can't come into this country. That's bullshit. That is against the law. Second thing is, like, how would they know you're a communist? Like, would you fill out a form or something? Are they going to fill out a form saying, okay, before you can come into the country, everybody has to fill out this form and pledge that you're not a communist? Are they going to do that? That's against the law. Not allowed to do that. So it's just silly. It's silly. It wouldn't last 5 seconds in a courtroom. And how would you even enforce it to begin with? It's just more culture war bullshit, you know, because the right wing, the conservatives, the GOP in particular, they don't have anything. They have zero actual policy proposals that will help anyone. Like, what are they proposing at all? Like, can you name any conservative, like, proposal, any conservative law that they want to pass that would actually help people? That would say reduce taxes for people who aren't billionaires. That would say do something like help poor people go to college. That will help the environment. Like, anything at all? Like, what's their stance on all? Like, they don't have anything. They don't want to change anything. It's perfectly fine, everything the way it is, all fucked up the way it is for these people. They don't want to change at all. They don't want to do anything that changes the status quo whatsoever. They want to keep everything the way it is and even revert it in the majority of cases. Like, say, I don't know, college admissions, for example. I don't know. We just went over a bunch of examples with the Supreme Court decisions there. They want to revert it back to how it was during the 1940s, right? Where everybody's white, all the non-white people are poor and in service jobs. You know, they're perfectly fine with black people, with Latinos, with Asian people. They're perfectly fine with them as long as they're gardeners, as long as they're bus boys, as long as they're gardeners, as long as they're bellhops. They're perfectly fine with that. They'll take you for your cheap labor. They just don't want you going to the expensive schools. They don't want you actually owning the restaurant, owning the hotel, right? They don't want any of that stuff. They're perfectly fine if you're non-white, perfectly fine with you being in society as long as you have a subservient role in that society. This is why black people were always allowed to perform in theaters, even if they couldn't actually go watch a performance in that same theater. They're always perfectly happy with that. As long as you're not the one, as long as they get to be the ones who are in charge, as long as they get to dictate to everybody else, they're perfectly fine. They don't want to change anything. They don't want any kind of equality at all. So they don't have shit. They don't have any proposals whatsoever to help anyone at all. Every single thing they have is all culture war horseshit. And even when it's something patently ridiculous like this, like, how are you going to keep all the fucking communists out of the country? You can't. The dumbest fucking shit ever. One more little thing for the hate nubbins here, and then we'll move on to our last segment. This I thought was funny and I needed to talk about. Trump talked about what having sex with Ivanka might be like. F. Staffer claims. The ex-president talked about his daughter's breasts and what it might be like to have sex with her, a former Trump administration official writes in a new book. Wow. Who would have thunk it, huh? Trump made sexual comments about his daughter, Ivanka, to aides working in his administration. A former Department of Homeland Security official reportedly claims in an upcoming book. Miles Taylor, Department of Homeland Security Chief of Staff under Trump, described the alleged remarks from the former president as part of a wider pattern of sexism and inappropriate behavior towards women in his administration, according to Newsweek, which obtained an excerpt of the book. Who would have thunk, folks? Who would have thunk that the man who is a complete, total misogynist, you know, the grab him by the pussy guy, man who's been married 3 times, has 5 children by 3 different women, who has basically been not convicted, but proved to have engaged in sexual assault, who had to pay E. Jean Carroll $5 million for essentially rape. Although we're not allowed to call it rape, even though that's exactly what it fucking is, right? Who would have thought that he would want to also bang his own daughter? I mean, that seems a little disturbing. Aide said he talked about Ivanka Trump's breasts, her backside, and what it'd be like to have sex with. Remarks once led John Kelly to remind the president that Ivanka was his daughter. Afterward, Kelly retold that story to me in visible disgust. Trump, he said, is a very, very evil man. Taylor also said he witnessed Trump's sexist behavior in meetings with Kristen Nelson, who was Secretary of Homeland Security from 2017 to 2018. Trump would refer to Nelson as sweetie and honey and critique the way she was dressed. That sounds completely, exactly correct to me. Let's turn this shit off. That's all we really need to read here, folks. Trump was a sick, sexist douchebag. Remember, Donald Trump comes from the era when that was A-OK. It may be hard for people to understand, but there was a time in this country when that was just normal standard behavior. Women had to put up with that shit, and there really wasn't anything they could do about it. You know, men would hire secretaries based on what they looked like. You know, the boss would cheat on his wife with his secretary, stuff like that. That was sort of a given. It was just, that's how it was. If you were a working woman, you know, in the professional world, you had to put up with all of this ridiculous misogyny, sexism, and shit like that. And Trump comes from that era. How old is Donald Trump again? 78? Right? He's probably been doing this his entire life. Does it really surprise anyone that he would say shit like this about his own daughter? No. Doesn't surprise me at all. I think, I mean, it's been a long-running joke that Donald Trump wanted to bang his own daughter for a long time, for years now. This is just sort of confirmation of that to me. Just another reason why this piece of shit should not be allowed to be the president. You know, I mean, yeah, we already knew he was an asshole. We knew he was vindictive. We knew that he was hateful, that he only cared about himself and money. And now we know that he's a degenerate also. And I use that word perfectly well, knowing this is what an actual fucking degenerate is. Right? This is what a degenerate is. An incestual piece of fucking garbage. That's a fucking degenerate. Donald Trump is a goddamn degenerate. I don't care. I know that there's like, you know, the word degenerate is like a borderline fucking slur against gay people. I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back and I'm using it. I'm redefining it to mean Donald Trump. And rich, incestuous, asshole billionaires who want to take away your rights. We should take it back.
Hello folks, if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something from my Etsy shop, supporting me on Patreon, liking and subscribing, and checking me out across my social media links listed below. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.